can have the CCTV footage there and pull off the light and zoom off. Friend, that is not just talking about a power that goes off from a particular building. We are talking about preterm babies in incubators. We are talking about patients in life support in ICU, even our kidney transplant patients. We are all there in ICU. It was quite devastating. Based on that panic, we got diesel. Unfortunately, it was, by what they said, had a lot of water and stopped the generator. That was a disaster no one can imagine. And that is how we can't afford to behold those babies in our care dying on things we know, otherwise we would have done something positive. And we have to be in position to discharge all those babies. Here is my pain. What is the fate of those babies? Where they have gone may also have similar experience, similar situation. And that's why I have to cry to the MD. And I say, please, you a woman, consider the pain of a fellow woman having done IVF and losing her baby by reason of this kind of emergency. This is not what could allow it to happen. They cut off the light and zoom off. And that is the situation we find ourselves, for which the commotion of December actually brought the attention.
My name is Bezali Powers. I'm a kidney transplant patient. I've been in ICU for the past 7 days under constant monitoring. It's an issue of concern, especially for health institutions that are in the business of saving lives. Yesterday there was power failure and the intensive care unit, and all the monitors and the life-saving devices were down, and it's not going to be beneficial for patients, and it can contribute more to mortality and saving lives. So we want the government to do something about it. At least concession should be given to all health institutions to have steady power supply and giving concession so that they can keep saving life, which is the business of the healthcare sector. It's very important, especially in critical sectors like the ICU and other sectors where you have life-saving machines. Our patients are on life-saving machines and all that, ventilators, and we need it. We need steady power supply to make sure that the mortality rates in hospitals are reduced to the barest minimum. This is the little we are asking the government to do for us. Thank you.
Dr. Richard Okoye further exposes the untold danger of hospitals without power, warning that hospitals shall be converted to morgues if no drastic action is taken on Band A categorization against hospitals.
See, this is not a cry for help. It is a cry for the lives of each and every one of us, the lives of our loved ones, those that even live in rural communities, as a matter of fact. When somebody dies, all what he sees is darkness. And light in a hospital serves as a psychotherapy to show that I am still in the land of the living. Everybody advocate of everything. We only giving them the psychotherapy to show that I'm still in the land of the living. As a matter of fact, hospital without power can be converted to morgue. You may ask me why I say so. Most organisms thrive in a room temperature. And if the hospitals are without light, there will be a lot of nosocomial infections that are acquired from hospital. And you know the devastating dimension of it. If those organisms haven't been susceptible to most of the antibiotics we are using currently, are allowed over time to keep growing, they will undergo mutation. And at the point of mutation, majority of the antibiotics we have may not affect those, and it's gonna be another epidemic that is in the making. What are we talking about here? How could a hospital perform a surgery? How would they be able to sterilize the equipment without power? Come to think about our children. Okay, look at these beautiful preterm babies. By reason of technological advancement today, they stand a chance to live. But I can tell you that I do not know, and I can't guarantee the fate of those preterm babies that will be charged just to seek if they can get help elsewhere. But if the place they are going right now is suffering the same fate we are suffering here, it is quite unfortunate. Think about the drugs we consume. Think about immunization we give to our children. These vaccines and drugs ought to be within a particular temperature, otherwise called cold chain. Will we, by reason of economic analysis, overriding every other thing that is essential to our lives, hospital in particular, we undermine all that? What is the quality of what we are giving to the children in the name of immunization? And that's why I said there may be a need for further consultation. There may be a need for us to be high. Maybe we never looked at it in this perspective. I put it to each and every one of us. Our hospitals are dying. Our healthcare system dying by reason of this band A that spare not even a healthcare system. Please, irrespective of our economic standing, it is an evil wind. I tell you, an evil wind that will do no good to anyone. If not directly, it will still be indirectly, because we live in the same system where hospitals teaching hospital taking their instrument to go and sterilize somewhere else. Some of the teaching hospitals federal hospitals used to get relative good life supply, but on the basis of the fact that the power now is meant for people who will relatively pay better, they were now downgraded to band B or something and channel the power to somewhere. So majority of them don't have light. How can we allow such a thing to happen in our time? And that's why I'm making this an appeal to make Nigerians know there is a danger by reason of this by allowing to get hospital involved in it. I know before now that when it has to do with diabetic people, you give insulin. They see response. But today, I don't know what will be the fate of those diabetic patients. You give insulin, no effect. Because this insulin has to be in a temperature, but when it is up there, it's denatured. The protein content will be denatured. You'll be given almost nothing. I'm praying and I'm just making this as an appeal that something has to be done. Majority of the hospitals are shutting down. Those ones that are already there are in a state of coma. And I don't know how a hospital will perform a surgery in a state of relative light and no power, no support and all that. Is something none of us will wish to see happen in this country.
Contrary to economic view of the Band A tariff policy, the doctors maintain that the healthcare industry offers exclusive service that should not be viewed from business perspective.
Anywhere in the world, healthcare has never been defined. Us as business people, they do not consider the social content of what we do to the community, to the people of our nation.
Everybody has been talking about the issue of alternative power solutions, solar and the rest. And also that we should be putting off all the equipments in order to reduce the consumption of power. But not all medical equipment subscribe to such. Most emergency equipment need to be on 24/7 in readiness of such coming to the hospital. And particularly and patriotically as it were, I saw that in this side of the world, people keep on collapsing and dying on things that otherwise could be said to be preventable, following heart attack, heart failure, and the likes. And I know that equipment such as cath lab, we available, could be able to save the life of these ones. And in 2020, I borrowed 900 million from CBN and Access Bank to install this particular equipment called cath lab, a heart equipment, regrettably not available in the entire south and southeast region of Nigeria. This is contrary to what is obtainable in the US, where within 1 kilometer at least, particularly close to resident community, that this one of them should be around in case of such emergencies. But that's what I put here. Regrettably, by observation, this equipment needs power and must have to be on 24 hours in readiness for any form of emergency. That is what I pleaded with PhD. I said, come on, this no doubt consumes power. I can't put up this, that since then it has saved the life of many people. That also landed on deaf ear on the basis of the fact they also buy the power from the Gencos. And that has also been paid. This is where economy and economic analysis has overridden the priority of health. The priority of health. So right now he said, switch it off. Put it off. That's what we are subject to do on the basis of the fact that there is a monopoly and the liberty given to a particular sector, overriding even the lives of our people. A policy I think should be revisited before it becomes too late. With 43.9 million bill, how will the hospital be able to run? How will the hospital be able to run? What implies, beside diesel that will be consumed, it may be thinking about 1.5 million every day must be generated in order to pay for the power, then the staff salary, maintenance of the hospital, paying of the bank loan, drugs and disposable that are all skyrocketed within this very period. Please, I'm pleading to Nigerians, I'm pleading to NEC and everyone that is concerned, let's emphatically look at the state of our healthcare already being challenged by the reason of Japan syndrome, and now again witnessing a thing that say shut down because you're a businessman. Healthcare is far much more than that.
Studies published by Business Day newspaper show that 20% of private hospitals have shut down and the worst looks imminent.
This is our Nigeria. Those of us who are still here are here because of our patriotic index. Because we believe that what was wrong can be made right. That is the hope we share. That is the hope that gives us the courage to continue to stay around. And yet the few that are around are being exploited and suffocated and indeed derogated, deprived, limited, and compromised. We can't go on like this for too long. Save this country.
Beside direct hospital,
The effect of this cannot be overemphasized. About 10 days ago, there was no oxygen available in Port Harcourt. This whole hospital you see was left with just 6 bottles of oxygen. A very scary situation. And what was the issue? That some of the vendors, including the main vendor, shut down on the basis that the company was given a tariff, band A tariff of 14 million, and the MD asked, how many bottles of oxygen would they produce to be able to pay 14 million and then be able to sustain other issues? And they shut down. We had to go to a nearby community called Eleme to go and pick the ones that we have to mop up even at double the price of the oxygen, in order to have something to secure. While that effort was emphatically being made, someone else said, shut down. We don't care what you do. Please, I pray that everyone begin to understand there is something much more than economic analysis to the subject of our lives and our health.